We made it. It was close. We almost didn't. Welcome to Fireside Chats with me, Rayna, and our very special guest.
Right on, Dale. Sorry, I didn't realize you were like pausing for my benefit.
I know.
That means a lot.
I do it to everyone, and they you know what? I think I need to revamp that because
I think it's great. No, it's great. I love catching that deer in the headlights look. It helps you see into the person's soul just before the headlights get a little too close for comfort.
Exactly. Oh, God. Okay.
What just came out of my mouth? That's the question of every RPer ever. So, yeah.
Oh, God. Okay. So I'm just going to say hi to some people in chat. We are streaming on a Saturday. I don't even know who I am or where I am. It feels like a Wednesday, but it's still bright outside. I had to adjust my lighting because there's light coming through the window. So let's see who's here today. We got DM Dave, our lovely tech helper. And amazing DM of the channel. Hello. We've got Cross the Streams in here. Wait, there's a hype train happening? Oh my God. Okay, I completely missed it. Thank you for it's done now. Fuck. Fully missed it. Thank you all for everything. Cross the Streams for the tier 3 sub. Holy shit, thank you. Dave saying what's up. McBluff with the tier 1 sub. Awesome. Thank you for that. 22-month streak. That's like 2 babies. 2 stream babies. We need to make...
When you put it that way, that makes the heart just warm and fuzzy, don't it?
Yeah, I realize there's probably a lot of weird things I might say, so feel free to stop me.
With zero context, yeah, it's quite odd. It's quite odd.
Yes. We talk about stream babies here, so when you're subscribed for 9 months or more, we name a stream baby together.
Oh.
Okay, we got Senna House. Hello, how's it going on this lovely Saturday? Epic Fumbles, what's going on? I haven't talked to you in so long. What's going on? Cross the Streams, welcome to the Fireside. Yeah, it's one day we're gonna not have tech issues before we go live. So Dale, just so you know, the reason this show is called Fireside Chats is because chat really wanted to name this Dumpster Fire because we were looking for. I have Dave around me now. Obviously, something's wrong with the stream, so that's great.
No, he's peering through the void that is the background behind us. So yeah. No, it's not unnerving whatsoever. I see a little mist of green here, but I also see the stream live, so I get 2 different versions of him reaching through like some kind of eldritch horror. So if he's hearing that, just know that I think the best of you, but that does scare the piss out of me, and now I'm going to have to go talk to someone about that.
Okay. Dale says he's going to need to talk to somebody now. It's really hard to translate really fast. Okay.
It's all good.
Manda, hello. Dag! So Dag has been on Fireside Chats almost too many times now.
You have reached the legal limits of participation.
Yeah, it's mostly like when I just don't want to do the show alone, I'm like, Dag! Come on. So
get on here.
Dag's also part of our cast too on our Tuesday show. Cool. So that's why I usually pull him on to help me out. Dave's now scrolling through chat for me because he's totally commandeered the computer.
Well, there we go.
Okay. We've got Skalai in here. Hello. Senahas, no tech issues. We won't know where we are. That's true. Maddie, hey, what's going on? You've been too supportive. You're now giving diminishing returns.
At least be honest about it.
Yeah.
Tell us what you really think.
Yeah, please. Epic Fumble saying barely have time recently. Working at the same time while watching the show right now. Love y'all. Oh, nice. Don't get in trouble with your employer. If you have an employer, I don't know. I don't know why I assumed that, but well, it's so nice to have everyone here, and I feel like we should focus on our guest. So that being said, like for the rest of the stream, if you guys have any questions for our lovely Mr. Dale here, put them in chat. And I do have some questions that people submitted in our Discord and other social media places, which I will be asking throughout the stream. So if you've submitted that, don't worry about resubmitting it. So Dale.
Hi.
I want to ask you the question that we typically ask people who come on the show. What are your highs today and what are your lows?
My highs today were going out to the disc golf course with my wife, kids, father-in-law, and I got there late. My low was that I woke up about 9 o'clock. I work nights, so it means I sleep through the morning.
Right.
I don't have the chance to put my kids to bed, but that means a giant green field and scream at the same time. And it's completely normal to do that in public and run towards my kids as they're screaming, "Daddy!" and pick them up and swing them in the air. It's dad vibes are immaculate. So good.
Oh, dad vibes. That sounds awesome.
It was great. Great morning.
Yeah, that sounds so nice and wholesome.
Hoots! All the holes. No, wholesome. Yes. Chat?
Oh no! Oh,
Do
no.
not clip that. I know how these things work.
Okay. And
Here's my
now
forehead,
like sorry, what'd you say?
No, I said, here's my forehead. I was trying to bend down. I just got myself some dice to roll just in case I decide to answer a question a certain way.
Okay. I love that. You know you're a D&D player when.
Yeah.
Manda's saying I was about to play Zelda, but this seemed nice and appropriate to enjoy with my glass of rum. I agree. And I also take that as a huge compliment because
coming out.
I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom, and it's become a problem in my life, you know?
Oh, no.
So, yeah. Maddie6! Hey! Maddie6 redeemed Hydrate. I totally forgot to prep you, but if you have a drink near you, we usually cheers. So if you have...
Well, I need to go get a water, so I'm going to text my wife real quick and say, "Hey, babe, wagwa, por favor."
Okay, we'll wait for that then. Oh, good. Dave's gone now. I can have the computer back. Okay. So rapid fire question here. What is your favorite GIF or GIF? That's a huge debate if it's GIF or GIF, but I'm going with GIF. So what's your favorite GIF to use?
I look, a lot of times I'll go into like Messenger or like my text app for the indiscriminate phone model services that they do that I shouldn't say on stream because we're not sponsored. But I don't want you guys in trouble. But I'll go on there and I'll look at like, I'll click my past GIFs and stuff like that. I say GIF, GIF, whatever the frick. I get on there and I'll look, and I think the number one favorite that I have is, it's the little girl who's got way too much of like the Slurpee or juice on her face. And she's at a sporting event and she's just going,
oh my gosh, I use that one all the time when I'm excited.
yeah. The only other one, and this is actually in my personal D&D group, the only other GIF that comes close to that is the one where it's the dude in the front seat, little African-American dude, he's sitting in the front seat and he just kind of looks at that camera.
Yeah, that's great. It's so good.
Yeah.
My favorite GIF is the with all the fire and then the Elmo like you can't see both of my arms, but they're
Praise the fire!
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Senahas is saying, "Oh Dale, you have no idea. There is no more trouble to get into." The reason that Senahas is saying that about sponsorships is that recently, specifically Dave, has been outing large corporations like Disney. I don't even know, Home Depot, whatever. Just like I don't know if he's.
If you're a
trying
brand name, Dave has outed you on this channel.
Pretty
Shame.
much. Oh god. So like, you know, we're trying to get
Shame.
unsponsored by people on this channel. That's
Right.
how it works. Okay.
Got it. How can I help with that? I'll drop all the names I need to.
Yeah. Oh God.
Rugrats. No, they're not on TV anymore. Dang it.
Oh,
Okay, never mind.
I used to
That's
watch
a trip down memory lane that I did not intend. 90s babies and early thousands babies. I am so sorry. That was not my intent.
Are you a 90s baby?
Yeah.
Well, so am I. I didn't
Yes.
know. So that's exciting. Well,
Yeah.
fun fact there, everybody. 90s babies here. Dave said coming for you next, Wendy. Is great. Also, hi, GF Powers. What's up?
Next Wendy.
It's like, it's just... We're never going to get sponsored by anyone ever again.
Nah.
Okay, so... Wait, where'd the music go? Why is there no music?
Chat, are you hearing the music?
Okay. We're starting again. I don't know.
Chat couldn't face the music.
Hey, McBluff. Chat, if you can hear music, let me know, because I can't hear it anymore. So, music is on. Okay. Welcome to
It
the...
wouldn't be a
sort of
stream if
backwards
nothing
fucking
worked
pageantry is
right the
that?
first time.
Welcome to the dumpster fire tale. I'm so sorry.
Totally do voiceover for that. If you guys wanted to rebrand on April Fool's Day or something,
Yeah. Just
hit me up,
welcome,
man.
welcome to the dumpster fire and a big epic. Okay, I like
two
this.
different versions. I do like the Disney "Welcome to the Dumpster Fire," or I do the like Sunday, "Welcome to the Dumpster Fire," that kind of thing.
I love it.
Any and all. Let's do it all.
Oh God, that's a great segue into I love your voices, and that's why I was stalking you on TikTok for a long
That's
time.
fun to know. That's fun to hear.
Okay.
This is the first chance you and I have talked face to face, and now I know you've been stalking me.
Yeah, well, okay, so okay, not creepy stalking, just like, you know, fan
No, of course not.
stalking.
The usual stalking.
Right? Oh God.
I'll stop. The sass has got to come down. I got to tell myself that every once in a while. It's just got to stop. So yeah, I'm good. I will behave. I will
Yeah.
behave.
You don't. You're on Careful Cantrip. You don't have to. It's fine. No one else does.
I'm safe.
Yeah. So that's a great segue into, like, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Because you're already doing all these amazing voices, which is one of the reasons that I saw you. So tell us about you.
Well, it all started in a small log cabin in the winter of '92. That's actually my birth year, so I'll give you that much. That's a little bit of trivia.
Okay.
No, it was nowhere near a cabin, but it might as well have been. I was in Rexburg. But when I was a kid, I loved watching movies and hearing these freaking random crazy voices. I could tell when it was just an actor talking at you, right? But it was the character voices, the things when the actor did something so weird with their voice, it just caught my attention. It started off with, I think the earliest example was Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
Okay.
And then it became Sid the Sloth from the first Ice Age movie, the only good Ice Age movie. Come at me, I dare you. Then there was Elmo himself.
Right.
I learned how to copy. After that, when my voice started shifting a bit, I got into Optimus Prime, Darth Vader. There's a couple radio personalities where I was growing up that I tried to impersonate too, and that kind of fizzed out after a while. But yeah, I've loved character voices, and I love what they can convey in storytelling when you're trying to share something with people. I think that it helps bring a new dimension to the character or to the role that you're portraying, not just in like a D&D setting, but when you're actually acting with a script and with people or on stage or behind a screen. Any one of those things, voices help bring me into a game. And so as a player, I think, how can I help others get into it? So I do voices, and I coach people on how to do voices if they so choose to experiment and play the same way.
Right. That's awesome. I mean, I was telling you just before we went live that none of us are voice actors. And
I was surprised. You guys sound great, dude.
Okay, that's good. Woo. And it's funny, like our first campaign, we started, I don't think anyone was doing a voice. So to be fair, like our DM, Dave, he was way better at just like there's this whole like who gives a fuck and you just go for it kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And he was way better at like all his NPCs had different voices, but like we were all so nervous starting streaming, so like none of us had voices like episode 1. But then what happened was by the end of the campaign, like we had all like found like subtleties that like we leaned into, like not hard accents or anything like that, but and then for campaign 2 we were like, let's do it.
Let's just go. All the things. Let's do it all.
Yeah.
I totally feel that.
Yeah. So that's been quite an adventure. Although maybe I shouldn't talk for Dag. I know that he does have an acting background. So I'm forgetting if he's done voice acting before. I know he's done acting, but either way, we're all pretty not experienced. I
got you.
I forgot what I was telling you this for. It was in riff to whatever.
It was our segue. It was our segue into our conversation about voices and such.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh.
Yeah, don't sweat it. Dumpster fire. This is what we live for. This is the brand. So we are on point right now, completely according to plan.
Oh God. Chad, I'm so sorry. Oh my God.
I got people that are on here. Oh, we got an ad going on.
We have an ad. Oh no! I don't know.
On my end, those that have their subscription, I'm just seeing the ad going on, which means that I'm missing the content. So.
Okay, well, we'll just talk about nothing for the next minute.
Let's talk about a whole bunch of nothing. I'll be your resident ad alert. No funny business. No funniness. We're trying to save that for the show. Grand Theft Auto Mercenaries? Guys, stop. You've done so many. Advance Auto Parts. Ed Vince apparently needs a t-shirt that has his name on the back.
I love this.
I'm critiquing
the
Advance
ads?
Auto Parts. Oh, yeah.
It's so frustrating because I don't know how involved in the Twitcher world you are, but just recently they sort of like forced us all to show ads. And so we've been experiencing this terrible thing, but we've been gifting a bunch of subs to try and like get
people
this whole...
around that.
Yeah, and we do run the mid-roll because we feel like it's more annoying as a new person to like come in to a show and then get an ad and have to sit through it. But
yeah.
Oh, we have a question, Dale.
Yeah.
It's from DM Dave. He says, how can I make my voice make me more attractive? Asking for a friend.
Okay, how can I make my voice make me more attractive? 2 seconds, 1 second, 0 seconds. Okay. Believe it, this is back to live. So awesome.
Oh, okay, we're back. Okay.
Hi, friends. We had a question asking. Actually, why don't you read it off? I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head, but just for our viewership. So it comes from the actual host.
Okay. So the question is, how can I make my voice make me more attractive? Asking for a friend.
I think it has a lot to do with kind of the confidence in yourself as you're portraying a character, but also knowing what kind of gets your audience going. Like you know the people at your table, like you've had conversations, you're friends. So if you know that there's someone at the table that really likes a nice romantic dinner, then have that character talk in kind of a lower, more reserved voice. And kind of talk to him at that point and be like,
paint me yellow and call me banana.
I know a fantastic restaurant just around the corner. I hope that, I don't know, maybe you could join me later tonight. If not, I'm going to get myself a steak. If you care to join, I don't know if you're a vegetarian or whatever, but I'll get you what you like.
Damn.
So that kind of a thing. And you kind of switch it back and forth and just like, as far as just know your people and have confidence in yourself. Know that what you're doing is contributing to a story. And in that much as an actor, at least for me, when I go into acting, it's actually much more liberating because I'm in an environment where I'm with my friends. We can screw around and we can make mistakes. When you're streaming, it feels different because, we have to be theatrical. We have to show the story. We have to do this thing for our audience. I'm sorry, as a viewer of these kinds of stories, I enjoy when you guys have some consistency with voices and confidence and all that. But I almost love even more when I get that break of character, when you guys are dying laughing over something as dumb as milk, Rayna. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
not my fault.
I saw that.
It's not my fault.
It might not have been your fault, but y'all were laughing just the same. And that's what I'm talking about. When you're trying to do your best to be more attractive and have more fun and sound better, just remember it's a game. And if you're streaming, remember that the audience is aware that you are bringing them into this experience with you. So operating on that as your modus operandi, essentially, you got to make sure that you trust that, and that if people are not there for the dynamic at your table as much as they are for the story, it's kind of a hit and miss. Like, people need to be aware that yes, there's a greater story, but we're here for the table. Like, when I listen to your stream, I work nights, so I listen on the podcast.
Oh.
But when I'm listening to that, I'm not there because, oh, this is a fantastic story, even though it is. I love the dynamic. These people know each other, and it makes me feel like I've been invited to their home to be able to join them at their table. And I love that. That's the same idea that I had with Critical Role, Dimension 20, and other streams that are out there. You know what I mean?
Well, I love Critical Role and Dimensions 20, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, we definitely have a community within our little group of friends, and also in like our Twitcherverse as well. So yeah, I had no idea that you actually listen to our stuff. I mean, so like, wow, okay.
I'm looking at chat right now just to catch up.
Oh God.
Right on Dale is in your home. Okay, nope. If you're gonna say that kind of stuff on chat, I'm gonna say it in my voices. Brace yourself. Right on Dale is in your home, in your walls. Hide your kids, hide your wife. I love that one. Or wait, not that. Oh no, crap. I spoke too soon. Sorry about that. He's stalking your stream back. It's okay not to, and that's as far as I can read. That's all the screen shows me on my end. So I'm gonna stop there. If you want me to read something in a voice, make sure it is 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure it's less than 8 words. I don't
Add that
know.
to the dumpster fire. Oh my God.
Oh jeez. You guys are great. Chat's awesome.
Oh,
I like
yeah.
you guys. I'll keep you.
Oh. We like you too. Oh, hi, Dag.
Oh.
Ba weep, guru nap weep. I don't know what you're saying, Dag. You're botting out. Read challenge.
I think he's scatting. He's just scatting over text.
I can't scat. I just realized in this moment I can't scat. I was like skiddity up, dude. Like, okay, something for me to work on later, I guess.
Dudamus. Another relevant TTRPG skill that must be acquired.
Listen, with the bard that I play, it feels like every week it's like, oh, can you just buy an accordion and play it? It's like, no. There's always something new that chat's trying to. I don't want to say force is the wrong word, but they're like, egging me on to like try something new with her. So,
can I poke you in the forehead just for like 2 more minutes?
Okay.
So,
Me
I'm poking you
yell
in the
and call
forehead.
me
I want you to
banana.
introduce yourself
Rayna,
in
stop
character.
banging on the desk.
Okay.
Also, hi, Mom.
For the character that you're doing on stream,
Yeah.
voice included.
Yeah.
Share that with me.
Oh God, I'm so nervous now.
I'm here to grade you.
Oh fuck. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know why this is so hard because I do this every week on Tuesdays, but
I feel that. It's hard for me too. Even with just the 3 buddies that I have with my group, it's like, okay, I gotta nail this. I gotta nail it.
Yeah.
Don't sweat it. It's only your best friends hanging out with you and encouraging you to do your best voice.
Mm-hmm. I am sweating a little bit though. So okay.
I'm sweating for you. It's okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
We've got audio redemptions. Okay. Hello, my name is V.
You
so
suck.
very nice to meet you.
Now, V, excuse me. This is a pretty public bar, but I don't recall having you come across this bar just to chat me up. Name's Tavor.
Tivol, so nice to meet you. Wouldn't
Lord
you like
have
to
mercy,
be
I'm about
chatted
to
up?
bust.
Well, I did kind of invite you. So let's get down to business. We'll pause right there.
Okay.
For me, hearing your character's voice and just kind of going off the cuff,
Yeah.
it's fun to be able to hear you and offer you some cool things that you're doing with your voice that I really appreciate about your character. Already, you have kind of a lofty, varied energy to you. The musicality behind your voice, fantastic. I love what you've done with this character voice. The British RP accent that you have going on as well. While you've told me before stream that you were nervous about it, but I still feel that you do very well. I also think that helps the character's lofty, up in the air, very charming dynamic to her. It was super cool to hear. I just thought, I don't know, I thought that it would be fun to kind of dissect your character voice a little bit.
Yeah.
And then to kind of show you the process, like what I listen to and how I look for how the character's portrayed that separates that person or that character from the rest of the cast. And I think that those two things, yes, I still need to get to know your character more and I look forward to that. But I feel like those two dynamics, both the energy and the accent, both help bring your character into a different sphere than the rest of the cast. So well done.
Aww. Well, thanks. I'm still sweating a little.
That's okay. Me too.
Yeah.
It's hot in this little closet of mine. I'm going to open a door.
Okay, yeah.
I just literally, I have like a chroma key going on right now. It's like I can open and close this closet door and it makes me look more blue or not.
It's fine. You look great on stream, so you're all good.
Oh, good.
Okay. Oh my god. Okay. Remember how I prepped like a million questions and I'm just realizing we're not getting through half of them. Wait, Rayna, do Alara. Alara.
You guys want me to pick apart Alara right now?
Oh my god. So Alara was the character I played in Campaign 1 and she started as, if you listen to episode 1 and like episode 74 or whatever we ended on, she said no beatdown. They want me to do. I have a Susie voice. Okay. My Susie voice is really stupid and chat loves it because it's like, hi, my name is Susie, and turtle. Anyways, that's
so cute.
That's Susie. But Alara is less complicated than V. She's just more like, hi, I'm Alara. It's so nice to meet you.
And call me
Very
Banana.
similar to me, but
Susie
just like...
lives.
Sorry, there was a redemption. Susie lives.
Headphone warning.
Headphone. Yeah, they all take their headphones off when I do the Susie voice because it's extremely high pitched, as you can tell.
That's all good.
Yeah.
Safety warnings are important.
Yeah.
Put a label on that one. I need some instructions. So for Alara, hearing that again, like just even talking with you now, like hearing your vocal range, this is really weird that I do this, but like going through and doing different character impressions, I pay a lot of attention, not just to characters on screen, but people that I talk to. So in hearing Alara, I hear a lot of your natural voice coming through. Mm-hmm. Really what I'm hearing too is you bring a little bit more nasality to the voice. And again, that dynamism, that energy that makes you sound more musical. So what I'm trying to say there with musicality, it's kind of the scale of really varied pitch and intonation versus kind of a monotone, kind of like this kind of a thing. And I know that like, of some people, oftentimes it'll be like kind of the blue collar folks that have that monotone energy to them. And then you get into other spheres where it's much more performative and it's all over the place. I feel like for you and your characters, it'd be really interesting for me to hear you continue to experiment with that energy and that dynamism. I would like to see at some point, I want to challenge you to do a slightly more monotone character voice.
Oh God, I'm regretting having you on this show. I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah?
No, I'm totally
Good.
just kidding. It's good. You're teaching me things. Okay.
I love your, don't listen. I love the voices that you've done. I think that you can continue to grow in the natural tools that you have, that loftiness, that high energy, your voice. Okay. Working in radio has also helped me kind of pick apart other people's voices. You have a very nice voice to listen to. It's perfect for a stream. It's perfect for like a podcast. and being able to listen to a character come to life with that very nice sound, it's great. Like, keep doing what you're doing. I think, again, only as a guest and only as someone who's kind of poking you in the forehead, I would love to hear you continue to play to that musicality, but I think it would be interesting, at least for you as a player, to try to do a character that speaks at a bit more level, a little more monotone, not as much energy or inflection. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever played a character like that.
So it might. It's up to you. Again, up to you.
I'd like to do Jason Statham.
Jason Statham.
Oh my god.
Don't get me started on Jason Statham.
What kind of accent is that?
So that's to my knowledge, that's more of a Cockney accent.
Okay.
I think that there's a very specific word for it, but Cockney is the general term. And in fact, if I may, I'm going to plug one of my favorite resources to learn new accents. So if anyone here on stream that wants to learn a new accent of your own to be able to use for characters, write this down: the International Dialects of English Archive.
Okay. I feel like
Now, when you're on that stream, International Dialects of English Archive, you'll see a lot of their branding is just idea. They turn it into whatever the frick. The letter period. I forget what that's called, but they do that. That's a lot of their branding is just idea.
Okay.
But it gives you the ability to pick different regions of the world, like North America, South America, Latin America, Europe, Greater Asia, China, all these different areas, and those that I didn't say, that you can then break down further and going into, like, okay, let's go to London, for example. What kind of accents are in London? Well, there's literally a Londoner accent. There is a Cockney accent. There is a British RP, which really doesn't exist much today.
Okay.
That's mostly used in the nobility, actually. So a lot of Parliament, a lot of kind of the royalty, the crown, they are the kind of people that would use the British upper class accent, kind of like what you do for your character as well. But you can go further and further, and I think the best part for me, because I'm a visual and an auditory learner, they list off both phonetics. They show you, like, written out in different phonetics for an English speaker how to say the words in this accent. They also have native speakers that you can listen to that will then, like, read off a script or respond to questions that you can then copy. So idea, International Dialects of English Archive. It's great stuff.
That is so amazing. I have been trying desperately to learn an Irish accent, failing miserably. I don't know why it goes into Southern, but I start fine.
There's nothing more painful than trying to do an accent and someone tells you, "That's really good. Oh, it's so good. I love your Texan accent." I'm done.
It's kind of a funny story, though. You may appreciate this. I was trying to do the Irish accent, and that's how I figured out how to do a sort of Southern accent. Which I so, still working on the Irish thing, but we'll get there. Hey, Barry Carringham, received pronunciation. Yes. Amanda, isn't that archive the one Rob Hartley is on? I don't know, actually. We should ask. We should ask Rob. I had no idea. Obviously, he does voice work, so should probably ask him about that. It is, says Dag. It is! Thank you, Dag. Okay. I'm just looking at all the questions that I've prepped and being like, which one should we go with? Okay,
roll a d20, go.
Yeah, I do want to know what is your origin story with Dungeons and Dragons? Like, how did you first discover it?
So, two things, and they're both completely unrelated. When I was in high school, I heard some of my buddies in the grade ahead of me. They were in my church congregation, and I overheard them talking with some other friends at school about D&D. And I was like, "Well, what's D&D?" Without even an explanation, all I was told was, "Oh, you wouldn't like it."
Oh.
At that point, I was doing theater and football. Like the high school that I was at was getting ready to go to a couple different. I think we're approaching playoffs. We never actually made it because we got stomped on. But
Sorry about
hearing that from my friends was kind of, I don't want to say invalidating, but it was kind of a put off. I was like, well, I don't want to play with a bunch of people that are kind of rude like that. But like, okay. So I focused up. I went my next year and I focused in theater and all that. Graduated. I served a service mission for my church. I came back home. And from there, I started getting more into kind of broadening myself up to more opportunities. I was more into the dating scene. I kind of freaked me out when I was a kid, but got into it. Got married, had a kid, moved to the Utah Valley, Salt Lake Valley, and then COVID hit.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a stir-crazy time because and I'm sure everyone can relate to that we were all stuck just on so many levels, stuck physically, stuck emotionally, and stuck trying to develop ourselves and do something with our time.
Yeah.
So to keep myself sane, realizing, I love doing voices, impressions, and that's not fun when you're alone at the house all day long. When your wife is like, babe, are you okay? Yes, I'm just fine, dear. Don't mind me. I just need to pretend like I'm a shrew of some kind that stays in his laboratory all day.
I love that voice.
But then to realize that I had made connections in my service mission, in my high school, that were open to having me join a couple games. So I jumped in and I was like, I have no idea what the frick I'm doing. This rule book is intimidating, but I am here for the role play and I am here for the combat if y'all help me figure out how to run my character.
Yeah, fair.
And that's how it started. It was 2020, that April, that I finally made that jump and was like, I'm gonna freaking do this.
Yeah.
Like, screw the people that said that I can't. I'm gonna go do it.
Yeah.
And I have loved every second of it since.
Yeah, I'm glad you, well, I'm not happy about COVID, but I'm glad you found the time and the space to start, because it's I don't know why anyone would say that other than people. Were they playing D&D or?
Yeah, I think I don't know if it was this bad beforehand, but there was around 20, I'm kind of dating myself, 2010, 2011.
Okay.
That was like when I was in high school, towards those last years. And I don't know if gatekeeping was as much of a deal back then as it is today. But I feel like in some situations it would have been, gatekeeping for players was kind of like, well, we already have our thing. We have this little group. We have this vibe that we don't really want to take away from. And we feel like bringing someone else on might change that.
Right.
So I can understand why they wouldn't want to do it that way. I've kind of told myself that so that I don't smack them silly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not very.
But yeah,
it's not very inclusive or nice.
Nah, I found better groups though. I found many opportunities for people to say, "Hey, come join us. Do a one shot." What's a one shot? Well, let's show you, and they walk you through it, and it turns out really great.
Oh, that's awesome! I'm so happy you found D&D because it's awesome. Well, TTRPGs in general. I mostly just play Dungeons and Dragons. That's why I said
right.
That. Okay. Oh boy. All right, let's see. Hold on a second.
Chat is blowing up, bruh.
Oh, chat is, listen, Dale. Chat is always blowing up. Chat always says, yeah, okay, let's see what chat's saying here. He's recording the archive. Oh,
there's a rule book?
What? Okay, I want to know, Mandy, what recording, like what accent is he in there for? I want to know. This is Rob Hartley, our friend of the channel.
Yeah.
Logan, hey, what's up? There's a rule book. I know. So Dale, we we technically play by 5e rules. But we also go very heavily by the rule of cool. And Dave uses this thing a lot.
Paint me yellow and call me banana.
Where we're going, we don't need rules.
B-Town redeemed that audio thing that says, where we're going, we don't need rules. Also, thanks for the bits beat down. Yeah, Dave does this thing like
Bonus.
when we're not 100% sure on the rules, instead of like stopping the whole production to like open up the rule book, he says high or low for your benefit, and then we roll for it. So that's why Dave's saying, is there a rule book?
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
I love that. That's a cool dynamic. That sounds like a smart DM, and I'm not just saying it because I'm on your show.
yeah. So, Dave, I'm very biased. I am married to him. And I play on this channel, but he is my favorite DM, like, from even before we were married. And he's just... The story that he manages to weave is just mind-blowing, and I was always so impressed, like I said, we came from like no acting background, and he just like didn't give one shit and was like, I'm fully in character now. So he really brought us out of our shell and to where we are now. So anyways,
That's awesome.
yeah, DM Dave's the best. Hashtag Team Dave. Dag says rude. So Dag so we found Dag because he streams on his own channel, Dead Aussie Gamer, where he mostly runs Pathfinder games. And he is a GM over there, and that's why he's saying rude to me, because I said that Dave's my favorite DM. Dag is also really great. Okay.
There's your consolation prize, Dag.
Oh, God. A northern accent for Rob. Oh, that's interesting.
Northern American?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I don't know, actually. Yeah.
We talking northern U.S. or northern England? Because I don't know either of those, I don't think.
Yorkshire, and then B-Town says Minnesota.
Yorkshire. There's a few, like, the funny thing, I'll give you this little plug too for those that want to do a voice. There's not a whole lot you need to change with your voice at all. If you want to do a different character voice, you change one aspect, and that can be plenty. But even with an accent, changing one or two things actually helps you bleed over into others. Like with the Cockney accent that we were kind of playing with earlier, it's very much focused on the fronts of the mouth. And it's not so much focused on the lips, it's very toothy, because you use your teeth to pronounce a lot of the fricatives. What's in speech therapy and in phonetics, they'll teach you about the fricatives, where you're pushing air past your teeth. Those are for your Fs, your Vs, your THs is also another one, like the hard TH and the vibrative, the. So when you use any of those, very quick grammar lesson, I apologize. When you use any of that, when you use any of those things and you use just your teeth and lips, it becomes much, much more about like shifting that stuff forward in the mouth for the Cockney accent. So the is no longer with my teeth and tongue, it's now with my teeth and bottom lip. The, and I'm really accentuating the look there, the becomes the. And trying to identify those little tricks when you're doing your accent practice can help you a lot. For Yorkshire, if I remember correctly, it's actually a little bit more mumbled, and you use a little bit more lip. You kind of poof your lips out a little bit when you're trying to do the Yorkshire. And Yorkshire. I don't know why, but I always have to talk like Peaky Blinders when I do the Yorkshire accent. But by the time it's all said and done, I feel pretty confident that if I can impersonate any one of those characters, I've nailed it. So, of course, there's more than just the one accent on that show. So I need to go do my homework about the Yorkshire accent, period. But just remember, changing one or two things helps your voice change really, really cool ways, in really cool ways.
That's really helpful. Because I find that, like, my natural go-to is to go to, like, I've done a bunch of one-shots, and my natural, like, thing is to just go higher. And I'm like, how do I change that, for other characters? Because I can't just keep doing the same. I'm up here now.
I think the other, for that one too, I think it's natural for people that are in a TTRPG space, when they're in character, a lot of times they go to a certain voice because it helps them get to that place.
Yeah,
so if, for me, for a long time when I was playing Taval, my half-orc paladin, I would go to that Cockney accent. It's kind of low in the chest and it's very deep and gritty and all that stuff. And from there, I would shift over to other voices. But that was when I was a player. As myself, I kind of need to be able to jump to different places with other voices altogether, and sometimes in the same room.
Right.
So if you're nervous about that, Rayna, don't feel nervous. Don't feel like you have to change that. Just know that what feels right, and you can start from there and then shift elsewhere. Yeah, you can start way up here and go a little bit higher, but then you can kind of bring it back down even lower, go into your chest instead of up into your nasal cavity. That helps me out a lot too. I'm
gonna be sending you a lot of messages.
Yes.
Fantasy and I didn't say hi. Fantasy animal vegan. Oh, animal vegan. Wow, I'm so sorry. I butchered that. Fantasy animal vegan. Hello, welcome to the channel. Higher, lower, breathier. The tempo that you speak. That's true. Yeah. I think that's, on paper, I know that. But I think
that's the best place to know a thing, because then it's not scary.
Sure. It's the doing it.
Yes.
That's hard for me to stick to. So,
yeah, I feel that.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. I have this one question that I put in here that I really liked. Do you have one golden rule that you go by?
In life or in TTRPG? Because those are very different.
Okay. Let's go with TTRPGs, voice work, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Golden rule for voices, let go. As weird as that is, when you're getting into doing a character, especially in acting, they'll tell you got to practice your lines. You got to get to know your character. You got to get to know your motivations, get to know their background. But at the very last, the last step, especially, I believe it's, and those that have experience acting, correct me on this. I think it's Meisner, but correct me on that. Where the last step is to let go. You just be the character. You've done the work. You've worked at this for so long, you know what to do. And Rayna, I'm sure that when you're going into character, you no longer have to think, okay, do I need to raise my pitch? I think I'll raise my pitch for this one. You don't have to do that.
Right.
You let go. So for voices, it's now that you've done your homework, I have a problem personally when I'm going into something creative. I make it more procedural after a while, and it becomes much more logic, but then I kind of lose the fun.
Right.
So I have to remember, I've done my homework. It's time for some fun. And now I'm going to sit down and screw around with my friends for a few hours.
Yeah.
Let's just do this.
Yeah, that's a great life rule too. Just you've done your work and just go with it now. Just have fun. Yeah.
My life rule is don't be a dick. That's why it's very different.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good one too. Fully support that. Dag's saying, yeah, the Meisner technique is turning script into that next level of merged improv. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. B-Town, thanks for coming, Dale. Okay. Okay, I feel like, hear me out. I need to ask you the questions. I know there's more questions that I prepared, but I feel like I need to ask you the questions that people submitted. So I'm just going to go into that, and then we'll talk about your... Actually, this is a great segue for what I was just thinking. The first question was submitted by Cass. What dice setup will Dale's TTRPG system use, if any? I.e., would it use a D20 like D&D 5e, a D6 system like Powered by the Apocalypse, or something else? I feel Rayna asked every question in a different accent. I can't. That's why Dale's on the show. Okay.
I get to do all of the accents for you, so don't worry about it. I'm going to do something different every time.
Okay, tagging Dalen. So I feel like maybe add some context for. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the Tripper Fam Fantasy Animal Vegan. Add some context for your TTRPG system that you're building, because that's super cool too.
Thank you. No, it's for this. I've been trying to build a system that's specifically designed for streaming. I realized that when I was watching streams like Critical Role, and I'll put that one out there, as much as I love it and as much as I love these people, not the actors, the people that are on screen, I love seeing them and their dynamic, and I don't want that to go away. But I realized that 4 hours per session is a big commitment.
It really is.
So for me, not only that, I don't want to sit for 4 hours recording something. I also don't want to have to memorize 5 different books to get what I need done. So my system, the dice system, it's different than what you might expect from D&D. There's no consistent dice in that you begin at a D6. So it's similar to Powered by the Apocalypse, but from there it kind of varies.
Okay.
You actually will have a set of skill trees that are based on your dice, which I'm calling your mastery die.
Okay.
As you go in the game, you gain experience, as you are familiar with in other systems, but you can use those experience points to redeem future mastery die, bigger mastery die, or additional mastery die. So depending on a given task, you could say, well, I want to roll, and I know that this difficulty is kind of big, so I don't want to just roll a d6. I want to roll 3 d6s. Or you could level up altogether and say, I don't want a d6 anymore. I want more potential for damage. So I'm going to go with a d8, d10, d12.
Okay.
And as you go with that, there's actually, the dice system is probably the most malleable portion of this engine. So it's kind of weird to start off talking about it from there, but just know that the real build behind this focuses much more on what I'm calling stances. For my engine, stances are positions that you can take based off of what you want to do in the game. So there's combat, there's crafting, there's magic, and there's social. I'm including a social mechanic. The dice are only there to facilitate the feeling behind the experience.
Okay.
When you're in a social situation and when you don't know what you're talking about, it can be very hard for you to hone in on that specific thing you need to say. So I like to have my players use a bigger die, and then, like golf rules, the smaller numbers you get, the more on point you are.
Okay, all right.
So in combat, it's the opposite, because if you roll a 1, it's not very effective at all. In fact, it's kind of devastating to you.
Right.
The higher you roll in this game for combat, it becomes much better for you.
I see. Okay.
So stances are really the big draw for this game, and I do that to make sure that people aren't focusing on the dice, they're focusing on the interaction.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's
that's the biggest thing, and especially when you're trying to craft a stream. I've been talking a bit, so Rayna, if you want to cut in and ask questions at any time, feel free.
I'm trying to get like the full sense of your system in here too, so we can talk about it.
So the full sense of it, there are only 10 base stats.
Okay.
There's 4 that are based on your character's overall well-being, and 6 that are based on what your character can do in the game.
Okay.
And that was born out of the idea that I didn't want to memorize and like think, oh, I have to do all of these things. Like, what's underneath strength again? Athletics? Okay, cool. Acrobatics? Where's that one again? And trying to search through the character sheet every time was kind of bothering me. I don't do very well memorizing, so I wanted to make it a little easier for people like me or even outside of me to be able to do that. Stances for me allow people to focus more on the interaction and the role play.
Okay.
So dice mechanics are there to facilitate the interaction between players.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, because here, like, the way we typically play, like, at our table is role play is, like, more of our focus. We do include, like, combat into our games because people love it, and it's fun to try and, like, bring our role play into the combat, but we're less about the numbers of the die and more about, like you were saying, the intention behind what's going into the role. Like, we try not to say, like, I've seen this on Critical Role. Matt Mercer calls it out so many times when a player's like, I'm rolling an insight check. We try not to like say that. We try and talk more about what our intentions are and stuff like that. So
I love that.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, like, okay, so you're building your own TTRPG. I'm totally taking over this question that happened here.
Go for it.
How do you even begin, like, starting Like, are you doing a Kickstarter? Like, what's the, like, how do you get something like that published?
Most people that have a full team will say, let's do a Kickstarter. Let's get this off the ground ASAP.
Right.
I don't have a full team.
Yeah.
I've got me.
Mm-hmm.
And for the time being, what I'd like to do is develop the engine that I will then use on a podcast to be able to share and demonstrate and get people aware of, so that I can then do the fundraiser following. That's not to say that I'm not taking in funds now. I have a Ko-fi, but it's not like, oh, I need a few $100,000 to get this off the ground. Let's go.
Right.
It's very much a hobby right now.
Oh yeah.
And until there is real traction there, the focus is going to be, I'm building this game so that when people play, they can enjoy the overall experience of being at a table and telling a story together. That is my main goal.
That sounds awesome. I can't wait to sorry, I have cat hair in my mouth now.
Stop licking your cat. They do that on their own.
We have a long-haired cat, and the hair's just everywhere.
Yeah, I got you.
I can't wait. Like, so it's not finished. It's not on your podcast yet?
No, not just yet. You can listen to the podcast and get an idea of where things are going. But those are very much me I feel very much more involved with telling the story. It's not how I want to DM. But if you want to know how things are going on the podcast, you can listen into those episodes and hear for yourself that this is where it's going. This is the direction I want to take this.
Okay. Where do we find your podcast?
Ooh,
it's
on Spotify. It's also on Apple Podcasts. I'm trying to get it to other places. I lost a bet once upon a time.
Okay, where is this one going?
And the loss that I took was that my friend got to name my podcast.
Okay.
So it's the hashtag DadBodOddPod. All one word.
Things are making a lot more sense.
Yeah, where was that going? I don't even know. We're just gonna figure this out. No, it's it's good. I love this friend of mine. He and I have kept contact over the years, but as crazy it is, he stole my podcast name from me. But yeah, Dad Bod Odd Pod, all one word. Look it up on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It's actually what and I'll preface this for you guys. When you go on there, a lot of times I use my podcast as kind of the net where I'm just like throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Okay.
So you'll hear ideas for storytelling that I have tried in the past and I want to try in the future. Whether it's an audiobook, whether it's a short story, whether it's literally microfiction, microfiction is something that you can read on a Twitter post. A story that you can read within the space of a single Twitter post.
Right.
And what does that sound like when it's just audio? What does it sound like with a narrator and actors and music and sound effects? So you'll hear a lot of that. Shell is probably my favorite example of what I want to do with audiobook style storytelling, because it's not me reading you a story and doing character voices. It's me writing a story and having a full cast of people reading each character's voice and telling the story in a more immersive way. It's like audio drama meets audiobooks.
Okay. Yeah. Oh,
so
thanks,
I really...
Dave dropped your link in chat. Dave dropped the link to your podcast in chat. So
thank you.
Everybody go.
That's so sweet.
It's like follow, subscribe. I can't remember which platform it is. Whatever. Just click the button that this link takes you to.
Click the button. Leave a review. Reviews are huge.
Do it. Okay. Thanks, Pita.
Is this podcast or OnlyFans? Depends.
Oh no. Who was that? GF Powers? It was GF Powers. Okay.
I think so.
Oh god, yeah, do the thing. Oh, there's the Apple one. Oh, Dave, thank you for that.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah. Okay. We got another question about your system.
Yeah.
From OG Lava Kitten. who I saw earlier here in chat. I don't know if you're still here, OG. Shout out OG. Is the
OG.
system is the system going to be rules light, such as the Cipher system, Morkborg, etc.? I don't know any of those systems, so I can't help you.
So what I can equate that to, I like to think that Pathfinder and D&D are more the rules heavy. I also think that there's engines like Masks that are out there, Masks, the next generation superhero game, that are much more story-based, and therefore they're not really rules heavy. I wanted to find a happy medium because I like the idea that you have a structure that helps you build interesting worlds, but that you don't feel so burdened by staying true to every little thing on the table that you can't do rule of cool. I mean, even in D&D, you can do rule of cool, but there's almost like a subculture to that where people love it or hate it. I wanted to give people the leeway to say, we're going to do it or we're going to not. And it doesn't matter because this is the engine. We do what we want with it.
Right.
And it's built for that. D&D, I don't feel like necessarily is. If you want to do more rule of cool, you have to stop using certain rules for your table. And I wanted to eliminate that process. I wanted to give people something robust enough to say, if you fall off a cliff, you're going to get freaking hurt. But if you want to do something awesome, this engine is not going to prevent you from doing that.
That's
I hope that answers the question. OG?
Yeah.
OG?
OG's the best, by the way. B-Town redeemed highlight my message. I have a question for chat. What should I get for dinner? B-Town.
You should get Beijing beef from Panda Express.
Ooh.
That's what I would get.
I don't think I've
That's what I would
ever
get.
eaten at Panda Express. I don't know if they have them. I don't know if you know, but most of us are Canadian. Well, that's a lie now. It's a lie because we have C2 and our campaign 2. We've got some Canadians, some Americans, and now Dag, the Australian.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dag was saying that My Hero Academia used some of the mask rules. Yeah, so I did a one-shot with Dag, and he created like a very simple like D6 system that we could use that focused on roleplay. So that's what he's talking about there. And he based it off the world of My Hero Academia.
That's sick.
Yeah, it was lots of fun. Okay. Sorry, I'm just at the part where somebody asked, where do we write on Dale? And then I said, I'm sure that absolutely won't weird him out at all. I'm not going to ask that.
I am completely not weirded out.
Oh, God.
How many weird faces can I make in 5 seconds? I think we set a new record there. That was great. I counted 4.
That's pretty good. That's 1 a second. Well, I think you could push it to 5. If 1 face a second, you could do it.
I will train.
Okay. What a weird thing to train for. I was on this show, and now I'm training. Okay. The question from GF Powers, who is also here. We all love roleplay. Oh, shoot. I skipped Steve's question. Okay,
Steve! We love Steve here. Come back, Steve.
We do love Steve. I'll do your question next, okay? Don't be sad. So Powers says, we all love roleplay. Heck, it's the heart of RPG. But is it possible to have too much role-playing in a session, campaign, or game?
Asking me? I think this gets more into my feelings about DMing and about running the game. But I think that it's up to your table. Like, you need to have the confidence to talk to your players and give them some agency above table to say, we're doing a little too much role play, or we're doing a little too much combat, and to be free and open. The funny thing about, like, I don't know, Rayna, if you've experienced this, but I think that TTRPGs are kind of this microcosm for real world relationships. Because you're sitting across the table from another human being, or across the screen from another human being, that you have to work with in order to get the experience you want.
Yep.
So there's a lot of negotiation. There's a lot of relationship building. There's team building. And frick, I remember the stuff that I picked up when I was in freaking Boy Scouts, where they would tell you, like, there's 4 stages of team building. forming, storming, norming, and performing. When you're
Ooh.
forming, that's all you getting together. There's lots of energy, but low experience. Storming is when everyone is low. It's where people are butting heads, and it's all these different things. Norming is where your skills and your energy are starting to come back up. And performing, where we all want to be on a team, is when your energy is high and your skills are high. But if all of us acknowledge that, here's the kicker. If all of us acknowledge that and work to that, we will get there. If that is our aim, if that is our goal, we're going to get there. The challenge is sometimes people get discouraged. And this is where I think we're going to address this. When we're talking about, oh, there's too much of this, Rayna, when there's too much role play or combat, I think that we need to be more cognizant of the fact that there's no real problem player. There's extreme cases, obviously, but I don't think that there's such thing as a problem player.
Right.
Because these are human beings that are trying to have an awesome experience in storytelling. So be it far from us to say that, well, you want to do more combat? Better get lost then, buddy. This is a role play only table.
Right.
That's not fair to the person. And I don't think it sets a good precedent for those that want to join your table later.
Right.
So a roundabout way of answering your question, I do apologize for that. You'll hear me say this kind of stuff. I think there's a balance between too much and too little. And the balancer, the one thing that separates the two is communication. You have to be able to talk to your table and say, I don't know if you've seen this, Rayna. I don't know if you've sat there and said, guys, can we change this session or next session up a bit? We had a lot of combat. I feel like I need a break. We've done a lot of fighting. Let's get to some story or character elements here. Has that ever happened for you?
Oh yeah. So like even with CC, like playing D&D on stream is way different than playing just at a table like privately. So we have, our enjoyment, but we also are very aware like we're putting on a show, if that makes sense. So there were times like where we would have conversations about like we would see that like chat wasn't like so into like really long combat. Sometimes they were, sometimes they weren't, and we were like, well, we're not really into it either, so why are we doing this to ourselves?
Right.
So and then we talk about like Dave just recently was talking to us about how much high stakes combat we want to play with, not just from an audience perspective, from like us at the table. And we sort of manage that because not everyone always wants to play. It's either you survive or die combat. Sometimes it's just fun to like hit a bunch of things and have some role play moments in there, and it's just funny, right? Doesn't have to be end of world combat every time. So Dave's like really good at like checking in with us, and like I have to say, I'm rambling now, but I have to say like finding a table. This is what Dale was saying about how it's sort of it's very personal, right? And it's like trying to find a group of friends, really. And you have to be like, you don't have to, but you'll jive the best with people that you're on the same page with. So if you're in a group of people who like really love roleplay and you're one of those people, it's probably going to be much easier to like integrate into a table like that. And if you're someone who like absolutely is like, no, I just want to roll the dice, I want to play it like a video game, which is totally valid. It's, finding a table like that is going to be a lot easier to integrate into. And like, I just need to say, like, I feel really lucky with our group of people because we are like, we don't even really need to talk about it too much, but we're always on the same page, which is so awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I think that when people find that, that's what can make campaigns last decades at a time.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, we've been playing together for so many years now. So it's great. I'm so grateful for our people.
Love it.
Yeah. Okay, Steve's question. Oh my god, we're running out of time, so rapid fire here. Okay, Steve says, what's a good way to keep track of which voices you use for each NPC when DMing?
So, this actually segues into some of my character voice resources because I've had this same issue and I wanted to try and all the tools that I've made that I put out there, I use myself. Mm-hmm. So when trying to remember a character, I have a few different ways of going about that. Obviously get their name, get their race, get their accent if they use anything like that. But then you want to remember their motive. What's their one thing, their one goal that they're trying to accomplish? And with that, you can be as small scale or big scale as you want. If this NPC is an orphan kid and they say, I want to find a loaf of bread, that's it. That's all you need. The other thing too is that might have a little bit of like lack of organization for you. And I know that trying to keep track of all the things as a DM can be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I've actually been revisiting the design of one of my pieces, the GM's voice randomizer. Now this is a place for you to do that. But I also have been looking at the other half of that document, which technically is kind of the record, the GM's voice record, where you have their name, their race, their class, their motivation, their age, their sex, gender, all that stuff. So that at a quick glance, you look at that and say, oh yeah, this is the voice I used. And there's actually notation for the voice as well. All those are just kind of the demographic stuff. But as far as voice goes, I want you to know that with this build that I'm coming out with in the next few weeks, that the character voice record will empower you to maintain your character voices and to distinguish them more effectively. And Rayna, if I may, for those that visit my TikTok, I talk a lot about using my character voice sheet because it's what I use to help distinguish voices. All you really need are 4 voice tools, I call them. They're technically techniques that you would use in voice acting. With those 4, you can come up with 16 different combinations of character voices. So if you know that you want to try and do a deeper voice, that's pitch. If you know that you want to have a character that's a bit more powerful sounding, that's your timbre, your resonance, using your chest voice. If you know that you have a character that uses both pitch, timbre, and a little grittiness, that's your texture. Lastly, if you have a character that speaks a bit more monotone, that means their energy is low, their musicality is low. Those together, by switching either extreme of any one of those 4 tools, it comes out with 16 different voices. And it's really cool to play to that and say, this voice sounds really similar to this voice on this chart. And I use a chart system so that people can dissect it and know what they're doing and see how the voices relate, see how they're different, and know I don't want to use this one unless I do something really weird with it.
Right.
And that might mean that you use a different accent. You could use the same voice technique, but by adding a different accent, technically it sounds a little different.
Oh yeah.
So for example, if I was going to do, I rely a lot on my half-orc Tival. This guy, he's really deep in my chest and he uses a lot of resonance, he uses an accent, grit, that texture, he's a bit more monotone, and all of that, and trying to make sure that this character is just this, he embodies only this portion of that chart that you see on this character voice creator. What you'll notice is that when you're doing your different voices and things like that, even if you were to just go, okay, on this grid of 16 boxes where Tival is in the top corner, I don't want to do a voice that's close to him. And I feel like I'm doing that. Where can I go on the chart that shows, oh, I don't have to be as resonant and I don't have to be as gritty.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was to do Tival one more time and switch those 2 things, my grit and my timbre, my resonance, I would clear up my voice just a bit so it's not near as much, and then raise my resonance up into my nose to make it sound a bit different. And from there, it sounds completely different. So this character of mine, it does. I've actually changed my dynamism as well, but even then, it's a different voice.
Yeah.
I sound much more like a beggar child on the street than I do Tival, who's this hardened paladin.
Yeah.
And even though those simple techniques, guys, is what you can use to change your game as a host and as a player, regardless of the system you're using.
That's so cool, especially like not seeing it, hearing it.
Yeah.
Hearing it
Yeah,
change.
yeah.
That's awesome. Oh man, I wish I could just do that. I need more practice. I can. I wish I could do it
Dude,
this second.
if you guys want to do like a one shot, I would be down to like hang out, and like previous to the game, I would like say, okay, what do you want to do for this one shot? New characters, one session only. Dream it up, whatever you want to do with your voice, go. Let's do this. And I would coach you through that. I would love to do something for that. Something like that for you guys. Yeah.
That would be so much freaking fun.
Yeah.
It'd be so much fun. Peter. D&D with me says I'd pay to see that. Yeah. Rollhub, hey, welcome in. Welcome to Careful Cantrip. Rollhub says, just curious, do you have a background in voice acting, or do you learn through playing?
I do. I've done stuff through radio where I've done ads and things like that. I actually got my first radio job recording a fake ticket contest for Transformers Dark of the Moon.
Right, yeah.
And I impersonated Optimus Prime. But from there, I started actually getting into welcome to Bish's RV Challenge and like doing little ads like that on air, being paid for it. That was the start. Since then, I've done business to business ads for Apple. I've done ads for travel companies in Mexico. I've done telephone systems, the telephony systems, like, thank you for calling this such and such.
Oh, no.
I've done that for college universities. I've done safety announcements. Welcome to the auditorium. Please note the exit entrances and all that stuff.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different things. And really the number one thing when it comes to like character stuff, the only thing that I have under my name as far as that goes is the stuff that I produce myself. And I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to continue to enable other people to do the same thing too. I'm not necessarily out there to be a star, right? I just want to make sure that I'm telling the best story possible.
Oh, that's so wholesome. I have a question.
Gee, thanks.
No. I have a question
What is
for
this?
you.
This is the thing, right?
Oh no, that's what the young people do now. Dan.
Ah! You've saved me and destroyed me in the same comment.
Listen,
Why?
you were like, you talked about you in high school and dating yourself. I was like, oh god, I'm older than him. So I was like, you're like, oh, I'm dating myself 2010 in high school. So you know what?
I will not say anything further for the sake of my own personal safety.
Yeah. It's okay. We've all accepted here. Everyone at CC is Bobby's the baby. And by baby, I mean he's 31. So, and Swiss Dave, I don't know if I'm outing here, but I'm going to. He's 49. So we have quite an age range. And
That's awesome.
I'm gonna say we're all we don't feel young. So,
That's
yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Rob is not
when
75.
your kids wake up at 6 a.m. and they're playing in their bedroom next door for 2 hours and then come in and say, "Dad, I'm hungry," and you're like, "What time is it? I can't even see straight." Yeah, it's rough. I'm not a morning person anymore. I'm not.
No, you used to be, and then you had kids, and you weren't anymore. Oh wow.
And the night shift killed me too. So.
Oh yeah, that'll
There's
do
all
it
that.
for sure. For sure. Dag died in the 1920s, killed by a horse and coach. Yeah, okay.
What the frick?
Oh God.
There we go.
Swiss Dave, he looks great. I know. My God. We call him Swiss Dave because he's from Switzerland. He moved here to Canada, and we have another Dave, so that's why we have DM Dave and Swiss Dave. And Swiss Dave, he does look very young for his age, like even in person, and he always he's very bougie because he's from Switzerland. And he's always like, well, it's because here in his French accent that I can't do because they speak French over there.
Also an accent that I need to learn.
Well, he could help you with that. Yeah, he was like, oh, because over here everything is filled with sugar. He's like, but over there, that's why my skin is so beautiful. So I was like, okay, it's Dave.
All right, bougie buddy.
Yeah, but it's true. He does eat really well, and he sends me pictures of his lunches, and they're like, I have a German background, and I'm calling it a smorgasbord. I forget what it's called for the French people. Not aperitif, but
You're good.
you know what I mean. Anyways, it's always like this like bougie like thing on
Look at the spread that I've got.
yeah, on a charcuterie board with a glass of wine. Anyways, okay, I have a question for you. I'm curious. It's called a meat platter, Rayna. I'm sorry.
Don't say that in chat.
What is your bread and butter voices? So, like, what's your, like, go-to or, like, the ones that you know if you're, like, applying for a job or something, you know, it's like, oh, that's I'm gonna get that one.
So it depends on the job. It's kind of like if you were to go for a mechanic job or a plumber job. Those are different skill sets. They're similar, but they're different. In my case, I've done radio. I have done even some video game, a little bit of audiobook. Character acting, not quite yet, but there are some things in the works. I'm not going to go into it because I can't.
Boo.
I know. But with those things, a lot of times, kind of the everyman read, and this feels very processed. Like my voice feels like high diction, very well spoken, kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. That's kind of just my default at this point. As a kid, my superhero origin story began when I had a speech impediment. I had a lisp.
Oh, really?
So when I got into voices and hearing these characters that sounded nothing like an actual human being, that's what drew me to them, because I realized that my voice didn't sound quite like everyone else's normal voice. Right. And doing that helped me kind of branch off into radio and all these different things. But kind of like the everyman read, is your car giving you troubles again? Well, don't worry, bring it over to Sage Creek Repair. We'll get you taken care of. And that's radio, right?
Right.
You switch it over to like a telephone system, you kind of have to be, depending on the client. If it's a hospital, you want to be soothing. If it's like a party house, you want to match the energy and get people to feel like you're welcome here, but this is the energy level that we're going to reach here at the party house. Right. Click 1 if you want to like order your food right now, or like things like that. Voice acting, I rely a lot on my chest voice. Any voices that come from my chest, like the Tivols, the characters like this. I played a lawyer where I was very much speaking from my chest. I was very forward with how I carried myself. My chest would come out, and I would try and look down at the world from the length of my nose, kind of a thing. Bread and butter, though, it's less about the sound of the voice, more about where I talk from them from. Chest voice is a big one. Nasal voice is another big one, especially for those high energy reads, man. It's just up there. Audiobook is kind of just focused in the middle, kind of in the throat, where most voices would be, you would think. But yeah, I think those are it. And I'm sorry for taking 5 minutes to answer one question, but that's
no, it's really interesting.
That's how I roll.
It's really interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
It's so this went by really fast. Like if chat could see.
What time is it, dude?
It's 5:30. Or well, I guess your time is.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I know what you mean. I see what's happening.
It's time, which is crazy.
Dang, dude.
It went by so fast, and like if chat could see, I prepared like a 2-page like document, and we got through like none of the stuff, but we talked about great stuff, so that's what's important.
Yeah.
What time is it? It's party time. Yeah. So
I heard summertime in my head to answer that question. What time is it?
Rollhub, can you teach Rayna to do a voice? I think that would be really fun. Quick.
Do we have the time for that? If you'd like to, we can do that.
I mean, I want to be respectful of your time. I'm okay, but you know, I totally.
I've got a little bit more. I've got a little bit more.
Okay, teach me how to do a voice.
So part of this is going to require you to kind of center yourself, ground yourself, and the places that you go for your character voices yourself. Okay. You're in the habit of going up here into your nasal cavity, the space, literally the hollow of your sinuses, is where your voice lives for these characters that we've come to know and love. What I want to challenge you to do is to speak a little bit more towards your chest. And that's not just because that's where I defer. It's because I want to hear if you can do it, because you'll be empowered to do. Think about it this way. We know that people like Ashley Johnson on Critical Role can hit characters that are like Fern Calloway that live kind of up here.
Right.
But she can also do the orphan makers.
Right.
Who live way down here. And I think that for your repertoire to be able to tell the stories you want to tell, I think it would be fascinating if we could help you reach your chest voice a bit more.
Okay.
Even if it's just kind of bringing your voice, your pitch down just a little bit more. What I want you to imagine, and those at home, you can kind of practice this at home. What you'll focus on is trying to make your voice kind of vibrate the bones in your face for the nasal voice.
Okay.
So when you're talking way up here, you may notice that it's really vibrating up in that spot. For the chest voice, it's the same thing, but this time you try and talk as if the sound is coming from down here.
Okay.
Rayna, if you'd like to, in context of doing your chest voice, you don't have to do it here if you're not comfortable. That's totally cool. If you'd like to, that's awesome. I'll coach you through it.
I'll try.
But you kind of speak, and even right there, I'll try it. I heard you a little bit dip, so try and accentuate that even more. I'll try it. It might feel weird. Don't judge it. Just let it kind of go through, and we'll kind of walk through it together, okay?
All right. I'll try it. I'll speak a lot lower coming from down here.
So already I'm liking what I'm hearing. Even if you don't have like that good, strong, like, oh, manly sound, you don't need that. Because what I just realized hearing you do that, when you try to reach your chest voice, Rayna, you get a lot of grit.
Ooh.
And you reminded me of Raven from Teen Titans.
Ooh, I've never seen that, but the name sounds cool.
So for those that have seen Teen Titans, you know that Raven kind of lives in this kind of a raspy voice in the back of the throat. And for you, Rayna, Raven and Rayna, wow, I'm just kidding, there's not really correlation. But for you to reach that voice again, try and go down that low again and let that kind of croakiness kind of live and breathe for a little bit. Just let it kind of reach that again. Go ahead and try it one more time. I'm going to speak from my chest and maybe we can kind of help you practice a bit so that you can reach that voice for other characters. As you're reaching that, Rayna, I want to caution you and everyone watching at home. When you're trying to experiment with your voice, the minute that you feel like, you know, after a good workout, when your muscles are kind of tight and they're kind of tense, your voice is a muscle too.
Mm-hmm.
So be aware that there are certain things that when you're using different voices, you've got to prepare, you've got to warm up,
mm-hmm.
and you have to be ready to call it if you feel like you're straining yourself. So
Right.
Rayna, if you feel like going down this slow or going down into the rasp is not the best thing for you, tell me and we will stop immediately. I would much rather preserve your safety and your vocal apparatus than, oh yeah, let's do this cool thing. So just keep that in mind.
Okay, it's good to know.
Let's see. Try and reach that voice again and do it from a place of, who do you think would be a cool, like, I don't want to say like, masculine's not the right word, kind of hardcore. What's a good hardcore character class for D&D, do you think?
You said, honestly, Aragorn is just coming to my head.
Yeah. So if Aragorn,
Mm-hmm.
Aragorn feels like a fighter almost for D&D.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's say you're trying to create a voice for a fighter character.
Right.
So go ahead and go back into that voice one more time and just kind of talk from down there. Let's say that you're approaching Tival again, and that'll give you something to kind of direct your voice at. So it's not just you talking and saying words. Tival has asked you to Veliki Cauldron. Let's just call it that. And he's offering a business proposition for your character. And no, we don't have a name. No, you don't have to have a name. But we're exploring what it is that your voice can do for this kind of croaky sound. So go ahead whenever you're ready. I might even prompt you in and just say, "Oi, I see you walking in here. Get over, let's get this over with." Do you approach?
Yes, I approach and I say, "I'm looking for work."
Aren't we all, love? Well, you've come to the right place. Name's Tival, and he'll slap down 2 coins on the table. Get my friend here an ale. Thanks. So what is it that you do? You look like you're dressed for combat. Is that all you're good for?
That and a good joke every now and then. So what
That's
kind
about all
of
you're
work do
getting
you
out
got
of me
for-
right now.
Oh, sorry.
How dare. What kind of work? Well, the kind that could use a sword like yours. So, here's the deal. I need to know if you're trustworthy. I need to know that you can handle yourself in a fight. And I need to know whether or not you're going to run at the soonest sight of trouble. So, you tell me if I was to throw a beholder, a displacer beast, maybe even a bloody owlbear your way. Do you stand your ground or do you run?
I do more than stand my ground. I take my sword out and I would cut it down to the ground. You see this scar on my face?
It's nice.
It tells a story of how I stand my ground. I attack. I don't stand.
You're confident if nothing else.
True.
Let me talk to my superiors. Let's see if we can't make something happen. Welcome to the Rose Thorn.
Thank you.
So far, I like that. That was great.
I feel like
great
I wasn't
job.
breathing properly.
So, yeah, take your time, take some breaths, catch yourself back out. Chat, give her all the love, please.
Aw.
Give her some love, because that was great effort. That was great work. I loved the sound. So
Thanks.
that was great stuff.
Yeah, I've got to work on it. I can admit it definitely, it was interesting to go there because I don't ever, it's not like my natural go-to.
Right.
I always am like, oh, change my voice. I'm going to go up here. So it was really interesting to try and stay down there. So definitely
Right.
needs more work, which is fine. It's just part of the process, right? So yeah.
Exactly. And by the way, if you want to continue exploring that, but you feel a little bit of tension, tea, fantastic. Load up on honey. I wouldn't recommend sugar, like anything processed, but like if you have like a bee farm close by that has honey available, like fresh local honey will do wonders to not just stop allergies and the gunk that comes in your throat for your performance afterwards, but like recovery, because it is a muscle. Your voice is a muscle. So now that you've done a little workout, I want you to take some time to get a tea. I wouldn't recommend coffee because it's a stimulant and you want to try and relax your muscles now that you've done that.
Okay. Look at that. More tips coming from Dale here. Well, thanks. Thanks for teaching me how to do a deep voice. What was it you called it again? Not
So
you
that was
deep.
more of a chest voice.
Chest voice. Yeah. Thanks for helping me do that.
Absolutely.
And thanks for coming on today. And thanks for talking with me. We should keep in touch because I have lots of ideas and stuff that would be fun to do. And why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
Basically on all major socials at Write on Dale. And as far as where you can write on Dale, no. The proper response is no.
I'll make sure to put that in our Discord. That was Elvie.
There you go. Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much. So you know how I said this is a dumpster fire. I've been doing this show, specifically Fireside Chats, for
Paint me yellow and call me banana.
Great convo. Thanks for coming on, Dale.
Aw, everyone's thanking you. Chat's saying thanks for coming on.
I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
They do.
OG saying must request you change your name to Do Not Write on Dale. Yeah, let's raid.
I'll think about it. I'll totally think about it.
It's not happening. Oh, right on, Dale. There you go.
You got it.
Dave, if you want to find someone to raid, that would be great. Rob, yeah, let's raid Rob Hartley. We can ask him about his stuff and how he's on that. What's it called again? The American... Shoot, I put it on my phone. International Dialect of English Archive. Idea.
Yes. Idea. It's a great idea.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna look at that. Okay, the raid is starting, and this always happens to me. I get caught off because I'm not focused, but we don't have a set outro yet. So, bye, Rayna, Dave, Dag, Dale, and chat. Bye, everybody. Oh, yeah. Can we, let's do the hashtag Team Dave because it antagonizes Rob. Instead of, we usually do CC Love Raid for our raids, but definitely copy and paste this thing that Dave put in chat. Dale, thank you for coming to Fireside Chats. Thank you for putting up with the hilarious technical issues that we always have here. And I hope we see you around. And I don't have a catchphrase outro yet, so see you in the next one.
Catchphrase.
Catchphrase. Insert here.